If you're a small business owner, sole proprietor, or entrepreneur, you probably should be hiring workers to help with your business and issuing 1099s to at least some of them. And if so, you should have already gotten some information from them for the 1099 you'll be issuing to them next year. So, who should get a 1099 and what information should you be getting from them? Stay tuned. I'm Greg Gordillo. I've been the lawyer representing small businesses for more than 25 years now. I'm here to give you tips and insight into how to use the law to turn your dreams and visions for your small business into actions and results. On this channel, we focus on how to build your business with a solid lift foundation of great legal, insurance, financial, and tax systems. So if that interests you, consider subscribing. Today, I'm going to give you some important information about your tax system for your business. And if you stick around until the end, as a bonus, I'll tell you how to get my free 20-point Lift Confidence Assessment to help you decide what systems you should focus on first when building the foundation of your business. You know, with the rise of the gig economy and so many people now working as independent contractors as opposed to being full-time or part-time employees, you should be well familiar with the rules and requirements for the tax form known as a 1099. A 1099 is designed to document and track payments you make to independent contractors for services that they provide to your company. 1099s also help independent contractors accurately report their income when they file their taxes, as well as provide a mechanism for the IRS to ensure that independent contractor income is properly reported. The full spectrum of rules and procedures governing 1099s can change with time, but the fundamentals have stayed fairly consistent. So if you hire independent contractors to perform services for your business, you should be aware of these basic guidelines and reach out to us or your CPA if you have more specific questions. So first, let's be clear about what business owners do that requires filing a 1099. If you pay an independent contractor for a service provided to your company, you'll likely need to report that payment to the IRS using a 1099. You'll also need to provide a copy to the independent contractor. Now there's actually several different types of 1099 forms, each of which can apply to specific situations. As a general rule, you must file a 1099 miscellaneous for each individual or entity that you pay for services provided to your company. You don't need to file a 1099 for personal services, only for those services performed for your business. Also, 1099s are only required when paying for services, not for goods or equipment. If you paid your independent contractor through PayPal, you don't need to file a 1099. PayPal handles that on their end. And if you paid your independent contractor through some corporate business entity, you also won't need to issue a 1099. Okay. We now know that we need to issue 1099s for services provided to our business by independent contractors. But what amount triggers the 1099 filing requirement? Well, for most transactions, you're only required to report payments of $600 or more in a single calendar year. You aren't usually required to file a 1099 for payments under $600. That said, you're not prohibited from filing a 1099 if that threshold is, if the $600 threshold isn't met. Moreover, the independent contractor is not excused from reporting the income. So regardless of whether you file or the threshold is exceeded, the independent contractor has to report their income. So what individuals and entities qualify for getting a 1099? Well, in most cases, a 1099 is issued to everyone except for corporations. This includes individuals, partnerships, and most business entities. For example, a 1099 is required for a limited liability company if it's taxed as an individual, but not if it's taxed as a corporation. So generally, you should issue the 1099 to the LLC and let the LLC decide how it's going to claim the income. You should also be aware that while corporations usually don't get 1099s, there are several special circumstances where payments to corporations are reportable and a 1099 is required. Now, the exceptions are listed on the Form 1099 instructions, but consult with us or your CPA for more details about when you have to give a corporation a 1099. Now, what information do you need to include on the 1099? Well, to file a 1099, you'll need several pieces of information about your independent contractor, such as their taxpayer ID and business address. All of the information can be collected using a Form W-9. Now, given this, you should make it a standard practice to request a completed W-9 form from any independent contractor that you expect to pay at least $600 in the year, and get the W-9 completed before you pay them. At the very least, you should be getting for your file a record of the independent contractor's name, their current address, and their social security number or their employer identification number. Now, what are the deadlines for 1099s and any 1099 related form? Well, the IRS requires you to send out 1099 forms to your independent contractors by January 31st. Then, you also have to send in what's called a transmittal form 1096 to the IRS, and that has to be done before February 28th. If you neglect to file the 1099s at all, or if you file them too late, you could face serious fines. Depending on how late you file, for instance, penalties can range from $50 to $270 per form, and there's a maximum of $1.5 million per year. If you intentionally disregard sending a correct 1099, you can be subject to a minimum penalty of $250 per statement with no maximum. If you're late sending your 1099s for the year, contact us so we can help you fix that now and get a system in place for the future so it doesn't happen again. We can certainly help you with that too. While hiring independent contractors can provide your business with significant advantages, you need to pay close attention to the rules governing 1099s to avoid penalties and other complications. For example, there's several additional considerations regarding correctly classifying independent contractors and properly drafting independent contractor agreements. And these additional considerations are equally, if not more critical than just filing the 1099. For trusted guidance on hiring, classifying, and paying independent contractors, consult with us as your family business lawyer. We can help you maximize the benefits and minimize the liabilities that can come from employing independent contractors to help operate your business. Now, as promised, if you'd like help in identifying where to start on your lift systems, click on the link below for a free copy of my 20-point Lift Confidence Assessment. You'll use it to score yourself and focus on what you need to get right first. And if you found this video worth watching, hit the thumbs up button for us.